Welcome back to the Board Business Channel. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Well, today we're taking a look at Ingentec,
A Taiwanese company?
a Taiwanese company that's kind of a hidden gem.
You could say that.
They're supplying some of the biggest names in tech, but most people have never even heard of them.
True, they're not exactly a household name.
But they're playing a crucial role in making the chips that power our world.
The brains behind our smartphones, laptops, you name it.
Exactly. So get ready to have your minds blown, because we're about to uncover the secrets of Ingentec.
I love it. Uncovering secrets.
All right, so let's start with the basics.
Okay.
Ingentec, not the catchiest name, gotta be honest.
No, it doesn't exactly scream cutting-edge technology, does it?
Right, but like they say, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly. And in this case, the book is way more interesting than the title might suggest.
Okay, so spill the tea. What's the story behind Ingentec? Where did they come from?
Well, their journey actually began pretty humbly. Yeah, they started out as a trading company dealing with solar energy materials.
Solar energy, like solar panels and stuff.
Yep, that's right.
Huh, interesting.
But then they made a pretty bold move.
Let me guess. They decided to trade sunshine for silicon.
You got it. They pivoted and jumped headfirst into the semiconductor industry.
Wow, that's a pretty big leap.
It is, but it turned out to be a brilliant one.
So how did they even pull that off? I mean, going from solar panels to the tiny chips that power our devices, that's like switching from baking cookies to performing brain surgery.
It's a great analogy. But they saw the writing on the wall.
Mean?
They realized that semiconductors were the future,
Makes sense.
and they were determined to be a part of it.
So they basically traded in their solar-powered calculators for high-powered computers.
Something like that. They adapted and evolved, just like any successful business needs to do.
Okay, so they saw the future and jumped on board the Semiconductor
Yeah.
Express. But what exactly do they do in this super complex world of chips? What's their specialty?
Their specialty is purity.
Purity. Like, are they making organic, gluten-free chips now?
Haha, not quite. We're talking about the purity of the gases used in chip manufacturing.
Gases. Wait, so chips need gases to be made. I thought it was all about silicon and wires and stuff.
Silicon and wires are definitely important, but those super tiny, intricate chips can't be made without incredibly pure gases.
Really? I had no idea. So what kind of gases are we talking about here?
Well, there are a bunch of different types, but one of the most important ones is C4F8 gas.
C4F.
C4F8, it's a mouthful.
Yeah.
But trust me, it's a big deal in the chip-making world.
Okay, I'm trusting you. So why is this C4F8 gas so important? What does it actually do?
It's used in a process called etching, which is basically like carving out the intricate patterns on the silicon wafers to create the chips.
Oh, so it's like a super precise chisel for chips. But why does it have to be so pure?
Because even the tiniest impurity can ruin an entire batch of chips.
Wait, seriously? We're talking like a speck of dust kind of impurity.
Even smaller. We're talking about purity levels of 99.9999%.
6 nines. That's insane.
It is. And that's where Ingentec really shines.
So they're like the gas purity champions of the world.
You could say that. They've mastered the art of producing ultra-pure gases, and that's one of the reasons why they're so sought after by the big players in the semiconductor industry.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this company is kind of a big deal, even if their name doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
Exactly. They're a critical part of the global chip supply chain, even if most people don't realize it.
All right, so we've got the pure gas thing down.
Check.
But I heard a rumor that they have another trick up their sleeve.
Oh, you heard about that, huh?
I have my sources. Apparently, they've developed this super secret technology called Lady.
Not so secret anymore. But yes, LEWay is pretty groundbreaking.
Ooh, spill the tea. What is L80 and why is it so revolutionary?
Well, LEWay stands for Laser Aero Decomposition Yield.
Laser Aero Decomposition Yield. Okay, that's a mouthful. What does it even mean?
It's basically a process that uses lasers to create these tiny, super precise connections called through-glass vias, or TGVs, in advanced chip packages.
The TGVs. Like the high-speed trains in Europe.
Exactly. Think of TGVs as tiny superhighways that allow different parts of the chip to communicate with each other at lightning speed.
So it's like bringing high-speed rail to the microscopic world of chips.
That's a great way to put it. These TGVs are essential for making the chips that power things like AI and other cutting-edge technologies.
Okay, so they're using lasers to create tiny highways on chips. That's pretty wild. But why glass? I thought glass was like the opposite of conductive.
It is. But it turns out glass has some surprising advantages when it comes to making these advanced chips.
Such as?
Well, for one, it allows for better signal integrity. The signals can travel faster and with less interference.
Oh.
And it also helps to dissipate heat more effectively.
Which is crucial because those high-powered chips can get pretty toasty.
Exactly. So glass might seem like an unlikely hero in the chip-making world, but it's actually a game changer.
So Ingentec is basically like a tech magician, taking something as simple as glass and turning it into a high-tech superhighway for chips.
That's a pretty good way to describe it.
Okay, I'm officially impressed. But this is only the tip of the iceberg, right?
You got it. There's a whole lot more to uncover about Ingentec and their impact on the tech world.
Yeah, they went from solar to semiconductors. Pretty impressive.
It is. And it all comes down to their ability to adapt and innovate.
They saw the market shifting. They were like, hey, we got to get in on that chip action.
Exactly. They realized that semiconductors were the future, and they weren't afraid to take a risk.
So they basically traded their solar panels for super pure gases.
Yep. They saw the potential in supplying the materials that make those tiny chips possible.
Then they nailed it.
Yeah.
I mean, now they're supplying some of the biggest names in tech, including TSMC,
Yeah.
SMC, people, the world's largest chip maker.
That's right. To be a TSMC supplier is like the ultimate seal of approval in the semiconductor world.
Like winning an Oscar for Best Supporting Gas.
Exactly.
Ah.
It means you've got the quality, the reliability, the technology.
The whole shebang. But seriously, how did they manage to snag such a coveted spot? What's their secret sauce?
Well, it all goes back to their commitment to purity.
Ah, yes. The 6-9s, their legendary 6-stage gas production process. I'm still kind of geeking out over that.
It's pretty impressive, right? They control every step of the process, from manufacturing the containers to purifying, mixing, and analyzing the gases.
Wait, hold up. Did you say they make their own containers too?
They do?
Seriously. That's like a chef growing their own vegetables and raising their own cows just to make the perfect burger?
It's the ultimate commitment to quality control. And it sets them apart from a lot of their competitors.
I bet. I mean, that's what vertical integration is all about, right? Having complete control over every stage of the process.
Exactly. And it's a big part of what's allowed Ingentec to become such a reliable supplier to companies like TSMC.
Okay, so they've got the pure gas thing down, Pat.
Check.
They're supplying the giants of the semiconductor world.
Check.
But then there's this whole other layer of innovation with their LA dot bug technology.
Oh yeah, LED is a game changer.
Seriously, lasers, glass, tiny highways on ships. It's like they're operating on a whole different level.
It is pretty mind-blowing. But that's Ingentec for you. They're not afraid to push the boundaries and come up with totally new ways of doing things.
I mean, who would have thought you could use glass to make chips run faster and cooler? It's like they're rewriting the rules of the game.
And they're doing it all with incredible precision.
So basically, they're like the tech ninjas of the semiconductor world.
I like that. The tech ninjas. Silent, but deadly effective.
Exactly. But all this talk about high-tech gases and lasers and tiny chips, it's easy to forget why any of this even matters.
True, it can seem a bit abstract.
But at the end of the day, these technologies are what make our modern lives possible.
Right. The smartphones we use, the laptops we work on, the cars we drive, they all rely on these incredibly sophisticated chips.
And Ingentec is right there in the thick of it, making sure those chips can be made with the highest levels of quality and precision.
They're the unsung heroes of the tech world.
Quietly working behind the scenes to make all the magic happen.
And they're just getting started.
It's amazing to think how much innovation is happening in an industry that most people don't even think about.
Right. It's like a whole secret world of cutting-edge tech.
And Ingentec is right there leading the charge. So where do you see them going from here? What's next for the gas gurus and laser ninjas?
Well, they've already got a pretty impressive portfolio.
Super pure gases, advanced packaging, those mind-blowing TGVs.
Exactly. They're hitting it out of the park. But I think they've only just scratched the surface of what they're capable of.
Okay, so what's your prediction? What's next for Ingentec?
Well, I think they're going to continue to push the boundaries of material science.
Material science. So are they going to, like, invent a new element or something?
Maybe. But I think they'll focus on developing even more advanced materials for chip manufacturing.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, they could create materials that are even more resistant to impurities.
So even purer than 6-9s. Is that even possible?
Hey, with Ingentec, anything is possible. But it's not just about purity. They could also develop materials that can withstand even higher temperatures.
Ah, so chips that can handle even more processing power without melting into a puddle of silicon.
Exactly. And they could even develop materials that are more environmentally friendly.
Ooh, sustainable chips. I like the sound of that. So it's all about pushing the limits of what's possible with materials.
Absolutely. And I think Ingentec is perfectly positioned to lead the way. They've got the expertise, the innovation, and the drive to make it happen.
They're like the material masters of the semiconductor universe. But let's not forget their other superpower, vertical integration. That's got to be a huge advantage as they expand and grow.
Oh, absolutely. Controlling the entire process from start to finish gives them incredible flexibility and resilience.
So they're not just relying on some random supplier for crucial materials.
Nope, they're calling the shots, which is a big deal in a world where supply chains are getting more and more complex.
Right, especially in the semiconductor industry, where things are constantly changing and evolving.
Exactly. Ingentec's vertical integration gives them a huge competitive edge.
They're like a self-sufficient tech fortress. But let's be real, they're not just about efficiency and control. They're also passionate about innovation.
Oh, yeah, they're always looking for new and better ways to do things. Remember that crazy trip they took to Siberia to learn about gas production?
Oh yeah, that was epic. Talk about dedication.
It shows you how serious they are about pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
They're not afraid to go the extra mile, literally. And I have a feeling that kind of fearless spirit is going to take them even further in the years to come.
I agree. They're a company to watch, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Ingentec, the unsung heroes of the tech world. They may not be a household name, but they're making a huge impact on our lives, one tiny chip at a time.
And speaking of impacting the tech world, didn't you mention you had a friend who works in the industry?
Oh yeah, Steve. He's the executive director of the Arizona-Taiwan office.
He must have some incredible insights into the world of semiconductors.
I bet he does. We should definitely try to get him on the show sometime.
Absolutely. He'd be a fantastic guest.
Definitely. But for now, I think we've given our listeners a pretty good overview of Ingentec's amazing journey.
From solar energy to super pure gases and laser-powered chips, they've come a long way.
And they're not stopping there. I have a feeling we'll be hearing a lot more about Ingentec in the future.
I have no doubt about that.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap things up. Thank you for tuning in to the Board Business channel. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.
And be sure to check out our website for more information on Ingentec and all the other amazing companies we've covered.
See you next time.
Farewell.